Let's start with a bold truth that many men secretly wonder about, but rarely ask out loud. Every day, millions of men search the internet asking the same question. Can I make my penis bigger? You've probably seen the ads. Pills that promise inches overnight. Devices claiming permanent growth. Exercises that supposedly transform your body. But here's the real question. Do any of these actually work, according to science? Today we're going to break down the facts, the myths, and the medical reality behind penis enlargement methods. No hype, no shame, just clear, evidence-based information. Think about this for a moment. How many times have you seen a bold advertisement online promising dramatic penis enlargement in just a few weeks? Maybe it claims you can gain 2, 3, or even 4 inches with a special pill, cream, or secret exercise. The marketing is designed to grab your attention instantly. Bright colors, shocking claims, before and after pictures, and emotional language that targets one powerful feeling: insecurity. But here's the hook most people never stop to question. If these products truly work the way they claim, why wouldn't every medical professional recommend them? Why wouldn't hospitals, urology clinics, and scientific organizations openly promote them as a standard treatment? This is where understanding the difference between marketing and science becomes incredibly important. The internet is full of products that promise quick physical transformation, and penis enlargement is one of the most heavily marketed areas in men's health. Companies know that many men feel private concerns about size, and they design advertisements that push emotional triggers. Words like secret, ancient formula, doctor approved, or clinically proven are often used even when there is little or no real scientific evidence behind them. Here's another question worth asking. Have you ever noticed how these advertisements rarely provide real medical studies, published research, or transparent clinical trials? Instead, they rely on testimonials, dramatic stories, and vague claims that sound convincing but lack proof. Many enlargement pills, for example, are sold as dietary supplements. That means they are not always required to undergo the same strict testing and approval process that prescription medications must pass. Because of this, some products may contain herbal blends, stimulants, or substances that claim to boost blood flow. While increased blood flow can temporarily improve erection firmness, it does not permanently change the anatomical size of the penis. And yet the advertisements continue to promise permanent growth. This gap between expectation and reality can lead many people into a cycle of disappointment. Someone buys a product, hopes for dramatic change, waits weeks or months, and eventually realizes the promised results never appear. There's another hook that often traps people: comparison. Modern media exposes viewers to unrealistic body standards. Images online, in entertainment, or in adult content often show bodies that are far outside the average range. When people compare themselves to those images, it can create the illusion that something is wrong with them, even when their bodies are completely normal. This psychological pressure fuels the demand for miracle solutions. But the truth is far more empowering than the marketing suggests. When researchers study thousands of men across different countries and populations, they consistently find that most individuals fall within a very similar average range. What many people believe to be too small is actually completely normal from a medical perspective. Understanding this changes the entire conversation. Instead of chasing exaggerated promises, the focus shifts toward accurate information, body awareness, and realistic expectations. When you learn to question bold claims, examine evidence, and separate scientific facts from emotional marketing, you begin to take control of the narrative. Instead of being influenced by fear or insecurity, you rely on knowledge and critical thinking. And once someone begins recognizing how these marketing tactics work, those flashy promises start to lose their power. Imagine standing in a crowded room filled with hundreds of men and secretly wondering, "Am I normal?" It's a question many people think about but rarely say out loud. The surprising truth is that millions of men across the world carry the exact same worry, even though most of them are already completely within the normal range. Here's the hook that often changes everything. What most people believe is small is actually very close to the medical average. For years, researchers have conducted large scientific studies measuring penis size in thousands of men from different countries and age groups. These studies aim to answer a simple but important question: what does normal really look like? The results are remarkably consistent. The average erect penis length is generally around 5 to 5.5 inches for most men. That means the majority of people fall somewhere close to that range. Some are slightly above, some slightly below, but most cluster around that middle point. So why do so many men believe they are below average? One of the biggest reasons is perception distortion. Humans are naturally wired to compare themselves with others, but the comparisons we see are often unrealistic. Media, entertainment, and adult content frequently show individuals who fall far outside the normal range. Those images can quietly reshape what people think is typical. Here's another hook to consider. When someone constantly sees exaggerated examples, the brain slowly begins to treat those extremes as the standard. Over time, perfectly average bodies start to feel inadequate simply because the reference point has shifted. There's also something called locker room syndrome. This happens when men compare themselves while standing or in a relaxed state. The important detail many people overlook is that penis size varies significantly between the flaccid state and the erect state ***. Some men appear smaller when relaxed, but expand significantly during erection, while others show less change. Because of this natural variation, visual comparisons in casual situations can be misleading. Another fascinating fact is that the range of normal size is actually quite wide ***. Medicine does not define normal as a single number. Instead, it recognizes that bodies come in a spectrum. Height varies. Hand size varies. Foot size varies. The same is true for genital anatomy. Yet many people still believe they must match an unrealistic ideal to be considered normal. Here's something else that surprises many people. Surveys involving couples often show that partners tend to rate penis size as far less important than men assume. Emotional connection, attraction, communication, and sexual technique frequently rank much higher in satisfaction than physical measurements. But because size is rarely discussed openly in everyday conversations, myths and assumptions continue to grow unchecked. Without accurate information, people rely on rumors, jokes, internet forums, or exaggerated stories. That silence creates a powerful illusion. Each person thinks they are the only one questioning themselves, when in reality millions of others are quietly wondering the same thing. Once people finally see real scientific data, something interesting happens. Anxiety often begins to fade. The numbers reveal that what they believed was unusual is actually extremely common. And the moment someone understands that normal is far more common than they ever imagined, the entire perspective on body confidence can start to shift. Picture this scenario. Someone spends hours searching online for ways to improve their sexual performance. They scroll through advertisements, miracle products, secret techniques, and bold promises that claim to transform everything overnight. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that the solution must be hidden in some special product or quick trick. But here's a powerful hook that most people overlook. Real sexual performance is far more connected to overall health than to any single shortcut. Think about how the body actually works. Sexual function is not controlled by just one organ or one factor. It involves the brain, hormones, blood vessels, nerves, muscles, and emotional state all working together at the same time. When these systems are healthy and balanced, sexual performance tends to function naturally. Now consider the opposite situation. If someone is constantly stressed, sleep-deprived, inactive, or dealing with poor nutrition, the body begins to struggle in multiple areas. Energy drops. Hormone levels can shift. Blood circulation becomes less efficient, and those changes can directly affect sexual health. Here's the hook. Many people chase miracle solutions while ignoring the very foundations that influence sexual performance the most. Let's start with cardiovascular health. Erections depend heavily on healthy blood flow. The penis contains specialized tissues that fill with blood during arousal. If blood circulation is strong and the blood vessels are functioning properly, erections tend to be stronger and more reliable. But when circulation is compromised by factors like smoking, obesity, or lack of exercise, the body may struggle to deliver the blood flow needed for firm erections. This is one reason why many doctors describe erectile function as an early indicator of cardiovascular health. Another factor that often gets overlooked is physical fitness. Regular exercise improves circulation, boosts testosterone levels, enhances stamina, and reduces stress. Activities like walking, strength training, and cardiovascular workouts can have a surprisingly positive impact on sexual health because they support the systems the body relies on during arousal. Then there's sleep, which is far more powerful than many people realize. Testosterone production in men is closely connected to sleep cycles. When someone consistently gets poor sleep or stays up late for long periods, hormone levels can decline, leading to reduced libido and weaker sexual performance. Nutrition also plays an important role. The body requires essential nutrients to support hormone balance, nerve function, and blood vessel health. Diets high in processed foods, excessive sugar, or unhealthy fats can slowly affect these systems over time. But the body is only part of the picture. The mind plays a massive role in sexual health. Anxiety, stress, and performance pressure can interfere with the brain's signals that trigger arousal. When someone becomes overly focused on performance or worried about their body, it can actually make it harder for the body to respond naturally. Ironically, the more someone worries about performance, the more difficult performance may become. This is why focusing on overall wellness can be so powerful. When someone prioritizes physical health, mental balance, stress management, and confidence, the body often responds in ways that no miracle product could replicate. Instead of chasing hype or unrealistic promises, investing energy into health creates improvements that extend far beyond the bedroom, affecting energy, mood, longevity, and overall quality of life. Think about this for a moment. If size alone determined sexual satisfaction, then every relationship would depend entirely on measurements. But real life doesn't work that way. Human intimacy is far more complex than a single physical trait. Here's the hook that surprises many people. Confidence often influences attraction and satisfaction far more than anatomy does. Confidence changes the way someone carries themselves, the way they communicate, and the way they connect with a partner. When a person feels comfortable in their own body, that energy becomes noticeable. It affects eye contact, body language, tone of voice, and the overall sense of presence during intimate moments. Now imagine the opposite situation. Someone may constantly worry about their size, question their body, or feel insecure during intimacy. Those thoughts can create tension, hesitation, and self-doubt. Instead of being present in the moment, the mind becomes focused on comparison and performance anxiety. And here, another hook. The brain is actually one of the most powerful sexual organs in the body. Arousal begins in the mind. Attraction, excitement, anticipation, and emotional connection all start with psychological signals before the body responds physically. When someone feels confident and relaxed, those signals tend to flow naturally. But when insecurity takes over, the brain may interrupt that process. This is why confidence can dramatically change the entire experience of intimacy. Research in sexual health repeatedly shows that communication and emotional connection play major roles in satisfaction. Partners who feel comfortable talking openly about what they enjoy, what they need, and what makes them feel good tend to experience stronger intimacy. Yet many people assume physical traits matter more than communication. Here's an interesting reality. In many surveys about relationship satisfaction, partners often rank qualities like attentiveness, affection, emotional connection, and mutual understanding much higher than physical measurements. Being present, responsive, and engaged often creates a more fulfilling experience than focusing on size. Another factor that plays a huge role is *** sexual technique and awareness ***. The human body responds to many forms of stimulation, touch, rhythm, and emotional cues. When someone takes time to understand their partner's preferences and reactions, intimacy becomes more interactive and satisfying. But if someone is constantly worried about their size, they may become distracted from learning these important aspects of connection. Confidence also influences * how someone approaches intimacy *. A confident person is more likely to be relaxed, playful, and emotionally open. That openness allows both partners to explore, communicate, and enjoy the experience together. In contrast, insecurity can create distance. When someone feels embarrassed or self-conscious, they may avoid communication, rush through moments, or hold back emotionally. Here's another powerful hook. Attraction is rarely built on just one physical characteristic. People are drawn to a combination of personality, energy, humor, kindness, chemistry, and emotional connection. Confidence amplifies all of those qualities. When someone accepts their body and focuses on connection rather than comparison, intimacy often becomes more natural and enjoyable. Instead of measuring themselves against unrealistic standards, they become present in the moment, attentive to their partner, and comfortable expressing desire. And that shift in mindset can transform the entire dynamic of a relationship. Imagine seeing an advertisement that promises dramatic penis enlargement in just a few weeks. The message sounds convincing. The images look persuasive. Testimonials claim life-changing results. At first glance, it can feel like the solution to a problem many men quietly worry about. But here's the first hook that most people don't realize. Some of the most heavily marketed enlargement methods are also the ones with the highest potential risks. When people feel insecure about their bodies, they are often more willing to try quick solutions. Companies know this. That's why many products are designed to look safe, simple, and effective, even when there is little scientific evidence supporting them. One of the biggest dangers involves ** unregulated pills and supplements *. Many enlargement pills claim to contain herbal ingredients that boost blood flow or increase testosterone. But because many of these products are sold as dietary supplements, they may not undergo strict medical testing before reaching the market. Here, another hook worth thinking about. Studies have occasionally found that some supplements secretly contain hidden pharmaceutical ingredients. These substances may interact with medications or cause unexpected side effects. A person might think they're taking a harmless herbal pill while actually consuming an unlisted drug. Even when supplements contain exactly what the label claims, the ingredients often do not produce permanent enlargement *. Instead, they may only cause temporary effects like increased blood flow or mild stimulation. The body eventually returns to its normal state, leaving the person disappointed. Then there are ** aggressive manual techniques * promoted online. Exercises such as forceful stretching or repeated squeezing are often advertised as natural ways to stimulate growth. The logic sounds simple. Apply pressure repeatedly, and the tissue will expand. But the human body doesn't work like a muscle being trained in the gym. The penis contains delicate blood vessels, nerves, and specialized erectile tissue. Excessive pulling, squeezing, or trauma can damage these structures. Instead of enlargement, someone may experience bruising, scar tissue, pain, or even long-term erectile problems. Here's another hook that many people overlook. Scar tissue can actually reduce flexibility and function *, which may lead to curvature or difficulty maintaining erections. Devices can also pose risks if used incorrectly. Vacuum pumps, for example, are medically used in certain situations to help support erections. But misuse, such as excessive pressure or prolonged use, can cause swelling, burst blood vessels, or tissue injury. Surgical procedures are sometimes marketed as permanent enlargement solutions. While surgery can create certain physical changes, it also carries serious medical risks. These may include infection, nerve damage, scarring, or dissatisfaction with the final result. Some procedures may alter the appearance of the penis without significantly improving functional length. In certain cases, complications can even make the situation worse than before the surgery. The biggest hook of all is this. Many risky methods promise dramatic change, but the potential consequences are rarely emphasized in advertisements. People are shown the dream outcome, but rarely warned about the complications. Protecting your body means being cautious with any method that claims quick or guaranteed results. The tissues involved in sexual function are extremely sensitive, and damage to them can affect both physical health and confidence. Choosing safety over hype helps prevent long-term problems that could be far more difficult to treat than the original concern. Imagine having a question about your body that you're too embarrassed to ask anyone. So instead, you open a search engine. Within seconds, thousands of answers appear: forums, videos, advertisements, anonymous advice, and bold claims that sound convincing. But here's the first hook. Not all information is created equal. In fact, some of the most widely shared advice online about sexual health is based on myths, misunderstandings, or marketing tactics rather than real medical evidence. When people rely only on random internet sources, it becomes incredibly easy to absorb information that sounds believable but isn't actually accurate. This is why education becomes one of the most powerful tools a person can have. When you start learning how the body truly works, many fears and misconceptions begin to disappear. Instead of guessing or worrying about what might be wrong, you gain clarity about what is normal, what is medically significant, and what simply comes from unrealistic expectations. Here's another hook that many people overlook. Most anxiety about sexual health comes from a lack of reliable information. If someone never learns what the normal range of anatomy looks like, they may assume they fall outside of it. If they constantly see exaggerated examples online, they may begin to believe those examples represent the average. Over time, uncertainty turns into insecurity. But the moment accurate knowledge enters the picture, the entire perspective can change. Medical education provides context. It explains how anatomy varies naturally between individuals. It shows how hormones, circulation, nerves, and psychological factors all contribute to sexual function. It replaces guesswork with understanding. And when someone truly understands their body, they begin to recognize when something is actually worth medical attention and when it's simply a misunderstanding. Another important hook is realizing that doctors and medical professionals spend years studying these topics asterisk. Sexual health, urology, endocrinology, and human physiology are complex fields supported by decades of research and clinical experience. When questions arise, consulting credible sources or qualified professionals can provide answers that random internet discussions simply cannot match. There's also an important psychological shift that happens through education. Instead of feeling controlled by fear or comparison, a person begins to feel empowered. Knowledge replaces uncertainty. Curiosity replaces anxiety. Learning about sexual health also encourages healthier conversations. Many topics that once felt taboo become easier to discuss when they are approached from a scientific perspective. What once felt embarrassing begins to feel normal and understandable. Another aspect of education is understanding how to evaluate information critically. When someone learns to ask questions like, "Is this backed by research?" or "Is this coming from a qualified source?" they become far less vulnerable to misleading claims. This ability to filter information becomes incredibly valuable in a world where marketing messages appear everywhere. And once someone starts building that knowledge, they begin to realize something important. The more you understand your body, the more control you gain over your health, your confidence, and the decisions you make about your well-being.